mode.
Hi, thank you for your time today. Today we're going to be talking about Google local ranking tips for attorneys and how to rank for organic listings. This is a common topic that we get from many prospects that we talk to on a day-to-day basis, and it's a very common topic and one we like to educate attorneys on in a manner in which we feel like can actually be used in a day-to-day law firm. So jumping right in, a few of the reasons why you should implement a Google Plus local plan today is Google has integrated their places and organic listings, and what they've done is combine local with their Plus network, and Plus is their social media platform that they're trying to dip their toe in the water on, and experiment with trying to compete with Facebook. It just hasn't quite taken yet, but they have developed a whole separate business silo, and has allowed them to have separate AdSense or AdWords campaigns and a separate business model for them from a PPC perspective and also from an organic listings perspective. And that's what Google Local is. And we're going to show you a few examples of those local listings. And I'm sure if any of you have searched on local for anything in your town or in your area, you've noticed the local listings. And we want to make sure that we point out that these listings are completely separate. They are a completely separate process of ranking for these particular listings than the standard, what you would consider SEO organic listings. 80% of the users today employ Google as their main search engine tool, and that's why we focus on Google. And that's very common across all platforms. Local searches have quickly become very, very common. 90% of consumers are searching for local. That means that in the days of the yellow page advertising is really going away. Is it gone away? No, absolutely not. There's still some markets in which it's very common and very practical to advertise in. But in the larger geo areas, LA, Chicago, Miami, even very locally, it is becoming more popular. And there's a main reason why that is, and we're going to show you. These are two examples of local listings that I'm sure you've seen, but for us in particular, just for this webinar, we focus on Boston personal injury lawyer, and this is an example here to the left as to how it breaks down. And basically, you can see that it takes up what we consider 6, 8, and 10 packs that they show, and this is in particular is an 8-pack of listings, and it dominates the majority of the first page. And this is very common whether you're searching for a plumber, an attorney, a DUI attorney, personal injury attorney, disability attorney. It's very common. And as you can see, it doesn't matter how good your SEO is. If you're not ranking for these local key phrases, then you're not likely going to be on the first page unless you have, top 3 positioning, which, only 3 people can have that. On the right, we searched for Chicago personal injury attorney, and again, it pulled up a very similar style of listings. So it just tells you, how common these are, and it's becoming more common every day. Why you should implement a plan ASAP? And well, first of all, it's free, which is a great thing about it. It just takes your time. Generate more targeted traffic for your website. The local listings have proven to have nearly a 60% higher conversion rate through click-through. So that's very important to understand. These listings convert at about a 60% higher rate. Better search rankings, for more of the key rate phrases that you're talking about. This allows you now to dabble into those most competitive key phrases. Chicago personal injury lawyer, New Mexico or Albuquerque, personal injury attorney. And those other phrases that at first you used to have a really hard time getting on the first page for. Now it can become much more reasonable and actually obtainable. Continued on the SERPs and search engine results page, if you ever hear that term thrown around, that's what that is. The local listing box dominates the higher section of the page. So like I mentioned before, no matter how well your SEO firm or your office is optimizing your site, you're just not going to be on the first page. And if you're not on the first page, you might as well be not listed at all. It's just very, very low conversion rate after the first page. You stand out from the competition. Again, field law is very competitive. Online searches play a major role in how clients seek out representation, especially locally. and just having a basic internet presence is an absolute necessity. And I want to point out that you do not have to have a website to have a Google Places listing. So that's one key point. So even if you do have a very poor website, it is not necessary for you to redesign your site first. This is something that you can do. You know, if you're saying, look, I don't want to dump my money into SEO or content in, you know, redesigning my site, even if you have the worst site that you feel in the market, this is something you can do now, and this is something that, you know, can have an impact on you for a long period of time. It's simple. You know, we're going to go through a few ways to do it, but it's simple. Adding your law firm to Google Places is very easy. Again, it's absolutely necessary. We're going to talk a little bit about how to claim your local profile. I've included a few links on this, and we're going to send this out to everyone as well. So I encourage you to follow these links and follow through with the sign up and the profile development. But listing your Google Places for Business is free. Like I said, you can just head over to Google Places for Business, and they'll help you get started. From there, you'll need to log in with a Google Plus account. If you have a Gmail account, that works as well. But if you don't, you can create a Google Plus account, and you can follow the link there to do that. After logging in, you'll be prompted to enter your business phone number. And if you've been at your place of your office has been residing in the same location, has had the same number for some period of time, it's likely Google has that in their index, and they will be able to verify your listing by phone. If not, that you're going to have to request a PIN via postcard, and they're going to send that to you in postcard, and you enter the PIN in at the verification point at that time. There is optional information, your service areas, settings, hours, operations, so on and so forth. I want to make it very clear that you need to fill out the profile completely. Don't just go through the basic steps. Go through, even if you don't have all the answers or you're making a little bit of it up. I mean, just go through there and add as much information as you can. Add a photo of yourself. If you have a video or even a video that you think will work, add the video. Make sure that you fill out the hours completely. How you accept payment and so on and so forth, because it's very important to have a complete profile. Continued. Again, after you submit your information, you'll be asked to choose how you want to validate the listing. If you have the option of verifying by phone, please do that and make sure that you are by the number and are able to answer the phone in which they're going to verify that listing. Because at the time that you hit verify, they're going to actually call you, and an autoresponder gives you a PIN code that you enter in, and you're finished and you're done. Otherwise, you have to wait 3 or 4 weeks for a postcard. Postcards can get lost in the mail. It looks like junk mail to a lot of people, and they often get thrown away, which can drag this process out. For a complete overview, again, there's a link to the Google User's Guide for Google Places for Business. I recommend that you read through it. It's very simple. It's very clear, and it tells you how to do everything. But this is the basics that we're giving you today. While your Google Plus ranking, it highly depends on local directories and citations. There are over 100 different factors that determine how you rank on Google Plus Local, which is Google Places Maps. One of the most important factors is your name, address, and phone number, NAP. It has to be consistent, and I want to make sure that I articulate this very clearly. Your listing has to be exact across every directory listing or profile development that you do. So you can't use street or boulevard. You have to use either street or boulevard, and use that consistently. The other thing I tell attorneys all the time is make sure that you keep a spreadsheet of all the places where you have built citations and the login information for those, the email address that you used in order to identify those accounts. Because like Yelp, you have to have an account. For YP, you have to have an account. They're free, but you still have to establish an account, which requires a username and password. If there's ever a time in which you lose that information, and say you move your office or you change your phone number or you want to make additions and you don't have that information, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that and very time consuming. One of the new things in this industry you'll hear is citation buildings. It's citations are the new links, and the reason is that it's just all about Google Plus Local, and it's very popular for a reason, because it dominates the first page. I've been telling attorneys for nearly 3 years, claim your profile, get involved in this process. For a while it was only 1 or 2 listings, and we kept spreading the word. Look, it's going to become more prominent. Now everyone's trying to play catch up. Don't put yourself further behind. Don't have to play catch up. At least get in the game now and get involved, because if you don't, it's going to cost you down the road. Like I was talking about just a few seconds ago, citation consistency represents 3 of the top 15 ranking factors. And this page is important, and some of this may look very foreign to you, but the physical address in your city search, you're making sure all of that is consistent. The domain authority of your website, the proximity of the address to the centroid, that means the proximity of your address from the address of the IP, or the at least the server address from where the person is searching. All this is probably a little too complicated for what we're talking about today, but sometimes more information is better than not enough. So I wanted to share this with you, and feel free to look through this at your leisure. And at the end of this, I've included my email address and phone number. If you have questions about this, you can call me, and I'd be happy to help you out. Google Plus reporting information. It's great, to know how many people are viewing your your places listing, and how many people daily are clicking through for driving directions, or your website, or your phone number. Google provides that data, and that's very helpful. I mean, it'd be great for a lot of firms. I know a lot don't do this, but some do. Be able to sit down and look at your local data and say, wow, based on our Google Places listing, we should have had 50 phone calls, but we really only had 20. Where are we going wrong? Is there something wrong with our value proposition, or our message that isn't resonating, or isn't making people convert? That's a whole separate webinar, but that's a type of data that you can extract from, and I think I have an example here. I do. The Google Plus reporting. This is a friend of mine, Tom Wallen, which we manage his local listings, and you take the second listing down, which is his Orange County officer in Irvine. He's a DUI attorney. You can see that he has had 431 impressions and 209 actions. Tom gets a lot of business. He's very, very busy just from his places directory listings on Google, and he ranks in the top 3 locally for all of the competitive key phrases: Orange County DUI attorney, Orange County DUI lawyer, and otherwise he would not be anywhere. And this has really saved his practice and generated a lot of revenue for Tom. Start today, folks. There's no reason to wait. I've been telling people this for 2.5, 3 years. Get involved with this process. If you need help, contact us. If you think you can do it yourself, contact us. We're happy to help you. We're happy just to give you advice on best practices. Some people have the in-house staff to do it, some don't. But you need to do it today, because it's only going to become more popular. It's only going to take up more of the first page. And as much as we'd like to ignore it, it's just something that we can't. So feel free to contact us. And again, my information's on here. I'm happy just to talk and give you advice. So if you want to get in touch with me, please feel free to reach out. And I appreciate your time today, and hope this was informative for all of you. Thank you.